Hi, I was going to do a normal video today. Basically, I was going to show you guys how to do a crocheting technique where you can make rugs with fabric yarn. We'll get to that in a minute. It was just going to be a normal video, just me showing you guys how to make the raw materials, how to crochet, maybe a couple laughs, a couple goofs here and there, I don't know. Louie was probably going to make an appearance. She probably still will. She actually already has. And it was just going to be a normal video. And then I went and visited my family, and all of the plans went out the window, and now we're taking a different direction. Families are an amazing thing. I am incredibly fortunate to have 4 people and 1 cat in my life that I love more than anything in the world, and that support me in every single thing that I do. It's my family, Mark Hamill, everybody else on planet Earth. They encourage me, they support me, we're very close, we talk all the time. I see my parents and my brother every Sunday, I see my boyfriend quite frequently, and they're all very encouraging and supportive of me. And it's gotten me through a lot of really bad moments in my life. Whenever I decide to do something like paint my dining room table or rearrange my furniture at 11 o'clock at night when I have a final in 48 hours, they are always incredibly encouraging and supportive, and they're never like, maybe don't paint your dining room table while you're in the middle of a 14-day quarantine. And when I decided to start making a YouTube channel and start posting videos on the internet, they were equally encouraging and supportive. However, I went home last Sunday to visit my family like I often do, and we got on the topic of some of my YouTube videos, the ones that I had posted most recently. And they had some opinions about my most recent upload and some qualms, if you will, about some of the content that I put on my channel. I decided that I should really take into account and take stock of the feedback that I got from my parents and my brother and my boyfriend. I have to pay off my loans from law school somehow, and it's an amount of money that literally keeps me awake at night, so I'm kind of banking on this channel just exploding randomly within the next month or so before I have to make my first payment. And in order to do that, I really need to take feedback to heart, take criticism, and really apply it to my videos to make them better. Also, I just really want to make my family proud, because at the end of the day, I mean, that's all you could ask for, right? To make your family proud of you on your channel that has like 11 views, where you paint furniture in your 1-bedroom apartment, rather than seek therapy. I'm essentially going to be giving the director's chair to my family without them knowing. I'm going to do everything in my power to try to incorporate their feedback into this video, and hopefully it'll just go completely viral and I'll get sponsorships. I'm really banking on getting one from Canada Dry because it's my cat's favorite ginger ale. So my brother David gave the suggestion that I should first of all upload more, and he also said that I don't mention him enough in my videos. Actually, he doesn't think I mention him at all, and it seems like I don't have any siblings when I talk about my family in these videos because I never mention him, which I find to be hilarious because this is coming from the same person that had a 5th grade assignment where he had to make an autobiography about himself, and he mentioned his friend Tom like, I don't know, maybe 17 or 18 times throughout this book, and only mentioned me once in the caption of a photo in the back of the book where part of my face is cut out, and it just basically read like he had no siblings whatsoever. And it's just kind of ironic that this is the criticism that he decided to give to me. But okay, sure, I will make sure to mention David more in all of my videos. So I asked my dad if he had seen the last couple videos that I'd uploaded, and he said no, because he doesn't know how to find them. He also said after we watched those videos, he's like, oh, so you don't mention me in any of them. Are you sensing a theme here? And I said, okay, do you want me to talk about you in these videos then? And he said, no, don't mention me, I don't want to be talked about, don't talk about me, don't put me in your videos, da 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 da. So now I'm getting mixed messages. I do know that whenever I do post a video and I include my cat in it, because my cat is his most favorite creature on planet Earth, he becomes absolutely tickled with delight whenever he sees a little clip of Lulu doing something cute in my video. So I think the best way to get my dad's approval of my videos is to just include a lot of footage of my cat doing cute things, which shouldn't be too hard because my cat is very cute and she likes to stick her nose in everything that I do. Now my mother. Hi Mom. My mom, let me just say, is like the light of my life, the most supportive, loving, amazing, compassionate, best friend that I could ever ask for. She's incredible. But she had a lot of thoughts in my video. The music that I play when I do time lapses in my videos, she said that it sounded like the customer service hold music for Fitbit, which is an interesting observation, but sure. And she also said it sounded like after school children porn music, which I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. So obviously I have to scrap the music. She suggested I do something kind of funny, like do some old dad jokes or something in the background, some sort of voiceover. Sure, I could try doing that. She also, as I mentioned in my INFP video, she said that anytime I discuss Star Wars, she thinks it drags a lot, so no discussion of Star Wars whatsoever. Get that shit out of it. First, when I made some sort of sarcastic joke about her in my last video, she said, oh, so you're making sarcastic jokes about me. And then I didn't mention her in another video, and she said, oh, where's your sarcastic quips about me? So I'm kind of getting a sense that my family just likes attention. My boyfriend, his only feedback was that he thinks I need to make more references to the movie Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which I haven't seen since like May 2018, so I gotta brush up on that, I guess. And my cat said she would like me to discuss more of the socioeconomic impacts on labor laws in other countries and how they have an impact on not only the environment but also on the global economy as a whole. So I'm going to try to delve into that if I can, wherever it seems appropriate. Sorry this is kind of a long intro because now I'm going to skip to the intro that I actually filmed for this video before I got this idea. Hopefully this feedback will get me the views and the notoriety that I've been craving for this channel. So fingers crossed. Thank you in advance to my wonderful, amazing family. I love you very much. And yeah, so let's get started. Hey, first of all, I forgot to mention this before. This is my new water jug. My old one that was keeping me hydrated throughout the day broke, and now it's leaking water all over the place when I try to use it. I don't know what happened, but this is my water jug now. This is, going to be what's keeping me alive. So I thought I would just address the elephant in the room if you were wondering where it was. Secondly, what we're going to be doing today. I probably should have let off with that maybe, I don't know. Today we're going to be doing something called fabric crocheting, and I'm going to be using this technique to make a rug. Now, what is fabric crocheting? Essentially what you do is you take fabric and you cut it up into one long continuous strand, almost like thick yarn, and then you wrap it up into a little bundle and you essentially treat it like a thick sort of yarn, and you crochet it or knit it if you're one of those people that likes to knit. No judgment, but maybe a little judgment. Essentially create this really nice textile that you can use to make rugs or place settings or wall decor or baskets. I actually tried making a video a couple months ago where I did this exact type of technique to make a bunch of baskets for my apartment, and after spending an excessive amount of time making the project and then filming and editing it, the file corrupted. So now I'm doing it again. I'm going to be making a little throw rug for my kitchen because the one I had in there before had salsa spilled on it. It was either me or my boyfriend. I'm pretty sure it was him though, because I would never do something stupid like that. So I need a new rug, and I'm going to be using this technique to create a new rug for my little kitchen here. So I'm going to show you how to make the raw material of the fabric yarn, how to break down the fabric and turn it into yarn, and then I'm going to show you the pattern that I'm going to be using to make this rug. It's just going to be a really simple rectangle shape, so it's not going to be anything crazy. But if you don't really know how to crochet, I'm going to break down how to do that as best as I can. Let's get started. First things first, what materials am I going to need in order to take on this project? Fabulous question. Let's discuss this. First, you're going to need your scissors. You're also going to need fabric. Generally, my fabric of choice, the few times that I have done this project, is something very similar to quilting material, which is usually some sort of cotton. It's light, but it's durable. It's something where if you're manipulating it and you're turning it into yarn, it's not going to shed or stretch or lose its shape or like detach itself from the rest of the skein. It's going to work well for the purposes of what we're going to be doing today. My mom gave me a bag of bed sheets, which I also really enjoy using, because if you have old sheets, like maybe from college, and you don't have an extra long twin bed anymore, because really you only see those in college dorms, you can use your old bed sheets for this project, but I would recommend washing them first because, I will advise to stay away from fabrics that are either really thick or inflexible or difficult to work with, or maybe ones that have like embroidery or beading on it, because that's really going to make it difficult when you're actually crocheting or knitting. If you're one of those people, it's going to make it really difficult to actually work with it as yarn, because there's going to be like stuff in the way. And lastly, you're going to need a crochet hook. I don't know where mine is. Hold on. I had to turn the air on, so if you hear like a weird buzzing noise in the background, this is just so I don't die of heat exhaustion. This is the hook that I have. It's a N15 10mm crochet hook, which I found to be probably about as small as you can go for a project like this. Stitches can be kind of tight, just because I would say this hook is probably on the smaller side for our purposes, but it works okay. But if you have one that's bigger, maybe like a 11mm or even a 10.5 or above, that probably would be the best bet. So we have our materials. Now we have to figure out how the fuck do we make fabric yarn. So this is fabric yarn that I have made in the past. This is out of bed sheets. So I actually took a pillowcase that my mom gave me and I cut it up and turned it into yarn. And as you can see, it's like all connected together. and I just wrapped it up into this little bundle, and that's what it looks like at the end. It's pretty easy to make. I will say the one thing about this project, it is incredibly tedious, so if there's something that you really want to do very quickly, just go to Target and buy a fucking rug. But if you really take pleasure in the process of making something by yourself, or you just are really cheap and you just really don't want to spend 15 bucks on a rug, then, you know, this process is not very difficult, but it does take time. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this project. So you're going to turn this into this. Now, I have a piece of fabric here. This is like a chunk of fabric that I've taken from a bed sheet. And essentially what you need to do is you're going to lay it flat out on a table, and you're going to just kind of zigzag back and forth, cutting about 1 inch wide of fabric and making it into one long continuous piece, kind of like a yarn skein. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. So just to give a little bit of a visual for the pattern that you're going to be following for making fabric yarn, I'm using this piece of paper towel here, and the green lines represent where you're going to be cutting in order to create one long continuous strand of fabric yarn. So essentially you're just going to cut using this pattern, and your margins and everything are going to be about 1 inch wide from each other. And as you can see, the result is one long continuous strand of fabric yarn. Isn't that amazing? Wow, it's almost like it's magic. What did the mama elephant say to her kid when he was misbehaving? Tusk, tusk. Why was the elephant afraid to go to the computer store? Because they sold mice. What did the elephant do when he hurt his toe? He called the tow truck. That's T-O-W, not T-O-E. How do elephants talk to each other? On the Ella-phone. How do elephants keep cool in the summer? Ear conditioning. Wouldn't that apply to any animal that has ear? Okay, whatever, I don't care. What do you call an elephant that laughs a lot? An elephant? Okay, okay, hold on. That's a bit of a stretch. What's an elephant's favorite font to use? Elephant. Why are elephants bad dancers? They have 2 left feet. What do you get when you cross a fish with an elephant? Swimming trunks. What goes down but never goes up? An elephant in an elevator. No, I don't even think that's a joke. I feel like that's just science, right? This is my little bundle of fabric yarn. Isn't it cute? Isn't it wonderful? As you can see, it is all connected. It is like magic. I have turned one thing into another thing. Wow, look at me. It's really not that hard, as you can see, to make the fabric yarn. It's a time investment, depending on how big your project is going to be. But if you have the time and you enjoy slaughtering entire families of bed sheets and or quilting fabric, this is the exact project for you. But yeah, this is basically it. A couple tips just in case you might be still a little bit confused on the process or wondering if you made a mistake or not. Hi. Okay. What happens if the width of the yarn that I'm making is more or less than 1 inch exactly? Really doesn't matter that much. Just like any kind of regular yarn, sometimes the width of the yarn, especially if it's like a wool woven sort of yarn, it's not always exactly the same throughout the entire skein. It can vary a little bit, and that's totally fine. 1 inch is just basically an estimation, so if it's a little bit off here and there, it's really not that big a deal. I don't know if you could tell by my time lapse, but mine was certainly not 1 inch uniform perfectly throughout the entire project. So as long as you're just kind of ballparking it, it'll probably be fine. Another question, what happens if I have a brain fart and I accidentally cut through the fabric, and instead of, you know, like stopping at 1 inch and then flipping the fabric over, I accidentally cut all the way through? Again, it really doesn't matter. Just like you would in a normal project if you're switching colors or you're moving on to a new skein or something like that, you can always just tie the yarn together and then just crochet over the tail and it'll be fine. It's really not a project for perfection, if I'm being completely honest, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I enjoy doing this project, is because a lot of those little imperfections and things like that are not always going to necessarily show. How big or small is the fabric that I'm going to be cutting up needing to be? Well, it really depends. It depends on how much yarn of it that you want. I find though that when you're using a very large piece of fabric, like let's say you are using bed sheets and you have like a queen size top sheet that you're using, I would definitely recommend cutting those down into maybe like 8 rectangles or squares or whatever to make it a little bit easier, because really when you're doing this breaking down and making the fabric yarn, you want to lay it flat either on a table or on the ground, and it becomes very difficult if you need to find a very large flat area where you can lay down an entire queen size sheet. What it be, what it do? Welcome back to my epic food review. I'm just kidding, this is a crochet tutorial. So let's go over the basics very quickly. As you can see, I'm using yarn and not fabric yarn that we've been slaving over for the past what feels like an eternity or so, mainly because I feel like learning with yarn is a little bit more accessible than using a material that's not really necessarily conventional. So we're going to be starting out by just using this regular ass yarn that I found in one of many of my piles of yarn that I have around my apartment. So you're going to take your left hand. Hi. So basically you're going to take your yarn here and you're going to do some witchcraft with it. You're going to take the tail of your yarn. You're going to go over the pinky, under the pinky like that to create a loop. Then you're going to go over your two fingers, your ring finger and your middle finger, and then you're going to go under your pointer finger, make a loop-de-loop again, and then you're going to take your thumb and your middle finger and you're going to come back around here and pinch the tail so that you have maybe like 2 inches or so hanging off. That's how you hold your yarn. Now I'm going to show you guys how to chain. So basically every crochet project requires that you do some sort of chain or base, and it essentially depends on the shape that you're making, but for us we're going to be making what will end up being the width of the project. So however wide you want your rug or whatever it is you're making to be, that's how many chains you're going to make, and I'm going to show you guys what that means in a second, because if you've never crocheted before, this might sound a little bit confusing to you. So you're going to take your hook in your right hand and you're going to put it up against the yarn like so, and you're going to kind of dip it under to twist it to make a little loop-de-loop. Now I'm going to show you guys again real quickly. So you're going to kind of twist it a little bit and you're going to have a little loop on your hook, and you're going to keep your middle finger and your thumb pinched together on the bottom of the hook to keep that loop tight. So now what we're going to do, now that we have this little loop-de-loop here, is we're going to take the yarn in our hook, and the hook is going to go under the yarn, and you're going to twist it a little bit so that you can grab the yarn with the hook part of your utensil here, and you're going to pull through that little loop-de-loop that we made and create a chain. So now that we've done that, we're going to do that again and basically do that however many times we want to create the desired size of the project that we're going to be making. So because we're making a rug, we're going to have to chain quite a bit, and I'll include in the instructions in the description below how many times I chain and the dimensions and everything like that. But for our purposes, you know, it's good to just kind of practice a little bit. So I'm chaining. You know, you grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through, and I don't have to pinch this little loop here because it's holding itself because we have these little loops. And as you can see, there are distinct little nuggets or sections here that we can count, so that when an instruction says chain 10, we could count how many we have. That's what chaining is. Now comes the fun part, which is actually doing our single crochet stitch. Now let's say you're starting a new row, right? So basically what we're going to do for a single crochet stitch is we're going to take the second loop, or the second little chain space that we made from the hook. So we have this first one here, we're going to skip that one and we're going to move to the second one right here, this little guy, and we're going to insert our hook into this little loop. So as you can see, I inserted my hook into this little space, and we're going to grab our yarn. What's called yarning over is just allowing our yarn to be grabbed by the hook, and we're going to pull through, but not through the loop on the hook, but just pull through where we just inserted our hook. So now we have 2 loops on the hook, and we're going to yarn over again, which means we're going to grab the yarn once more, and we're going to pull through the 2 loops that we had on the hook. That's a single crochet stitch. Now we're moving on to the next stitch. So I'm just going to go right to this next little space here that we have. I'm going to insert my hook again, like so. Now we're going to yarn over, pull through just the space, not through the loop on the hook. So now we have 2 loops on our hook here. I'm going to yarn over again, which means just grabbing the yarn. Voila. And I'm going to just keep doing that throughout this entire project. I'm just going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through again. And this is what the stitches end up looking like. Now I think it's a really good idea to practice with regular yarn first, just because it's a little less intimidating than using a fabric that you've created into yarn and then using a big crochet hook to try to make something out of it. So just practicing like this, is very helpful. This video is sponsored by Fathead's Brewery. I'm just kidding, I fucking wish though. So it's currently Friday, yay, and there is a centipede in my room somewhere and I don't know where it is. My face is so shiny. So I tried shutting the blinds a little bit, you know, to like make sure that the sun isn't just fucking pouring into my apartment while I try to film. And I ripped one of the blinds off. So that's really great. Really good thing I have this. I have finished making my fabric yarn, I think. And now I'm actually going to show you guys what it takes to actually make this rug. This is hitting very hard. I didn't drink any water today. Interesting. Anyways, so. Can I help you? Literally, can I help you? What's up? So this is the fabric yarn that we have here. It's hard to kind of see what we have going on, but we have some reds. Isn't that nice? It's beautiful. I'm unraveling all of them. Great. Have some blue, we have some turquoise, and then we have some like darker colors like this navy blue and some yellows. We have some like neutral colors as well, and then I think on the bottom we have a couple colors of like this, which is like a grayish blue color. So we have an interesting color story here. In terms of size, I'm not entirely sure yet how many chains I'm going to do to create the width of this project, but I'll keep the dimensions and how many rows and how many chain spaces I did in the video description below. So if you want to do exactly what I did, then you can do that as well. And I'll just kind of keep you guys posted as I work on this, and hopefully it will look, you know, great. Oh, what's this, you ask? My brother made it for me, which also happens to like kind of match this little coaster that I have over here. Did I mention that I have a brother, by the way? In all seriousness, this is like one of the most beautiful things that I own. So this is something that my brother embroidered special for me. He makes a ton of really elaborate, beautiful, personal hand embroidered pillows for people, which is such a niche hobby, but he's so fucking talented at it. I don't even really know how it started. He just started doing it, and he makes shit like this. So in all seriousness, I know I've been joking with my brother today and in this video and kind of like cheesing on him a little bit in my family, but in all honesty, like I just wanted to kind of showcase and shout out my brother for just being so incredibly thoughtful and talented in making this pillow for me. I don't know what Louie's doing behind me, but like, okay. Move the cat. Yeah. Okay, I guess I should start with red. I don't know, maybe. Let's start with red. So I'm just gonna start chaining, and when I get to a width that I think will work for my kitchen, I have a very small galley kitchen. I'm not gonna insert a picture of it because it's a mess right now and I'm very embarrassed of it. Kind of crochet until I get to a width that I think will be appropriate. Now, like I mentioned before, when you're using a crochet hook that's like a little on the smaller side, like I said, I'm using a 10mm N15 hook, you wanna make sure that you keep your stitches as loose as humanly possible, because otherwise you're gonna get into a situation where your stitches are gonna be really tight and it's gonna be really difficult to insert your hook into the spots. So try to keep your stitches as loose as possible. Try to give yourself some give so you're not like, you know, making it harder on yourself. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, you're just watching me like look down at my crotch, but like, you know. I feel like this is a decent size. Maybe I'll do like 3 more. I'll do 3 more, what the fuck. No, I'll do 2 because I don't want to piss off my brother because he only likes things in even numbers. Huh? That's for you, Dad. That's just for you. So this is 36 stitches right here, and I feel like that's a decent size. You know, it's not huge, but it's definitely large enough where it'll make a difference in my kitchen. It won't just look like a random object just lying on the ground. Like, it won't look like garbage or something. It'll look like an intentional decoration. And I'll put all the measurements and everything of how everything turned out in the video description below, if anybody fucking cares. So you might be wondering to yourself, Megan, you're so talented. How did you get so good at crocheting? It seems like you're just the kind of person that's been crocheting since birth. I bet you were like crocheting your mother's umbilical cord when you were pushed out of the womb. First of all, thank you. That's a very nice but very strange thing to say to me. It's actually kind of a funny story about how I learned how to crochet. It's something that was many years in the making, and I know that sounds dramatic, but it's true. I've always wanted to take up a hobby that would allow me to make scarves and other outerwear accessories. I love fall. Like, I fuck with fall so hard. And one of the other reasons why I like fall is because the attire that you can wear in this, couple months of the year is my favorite type of attire to wear of all time. I feel like I look the best in the fall. Clearly, I don't thrive in the summertime. I mean, look at that's not makeup. That's my fucking greasy face. I've always wanted to make my own scarves and hats and fall accessories because I love wearing them, as you can see, and I just wanted to make them for my own ever since I was a little kid. I would watch Gilmore Girls and I would see Lorelai and Rory wearing these very stylish 2000s eclectic looking scarves and hats, and I'm like, bitch, I want that. I didn't really know how or where to start because I was a child and I was stupid. So I went to my mom one day and I was like, Mom, I want to learn how to make a scarf. Teach me. And she was like, okay, I'll teach you how to finger knit. And let me just say, if you've never finger knit before, it's like not the same fucking thing. It's like the bastard, illegitimate, distant cousin of crocheting and knitting. Really, all you do when you're finger knitting is you take your hand and you treat it like a knitting loom, and you essentially wrap fabric, or you wrap yarn around your fingers, and you just work out this very thin, very impractical, early 2000s-esque looking scarf that will keep you warm from literally no cold weather whatsoever. And they work up in about 15 minutes. It's very easy, very quick to do. So like, I get why my mom taught me how to do it, because I was a child, and arming me with knitting needles probably would not have been a very safe idea, because I probably would have accidentally impaled myself or my brother at some point, but that's beside the point. It's a good hobby for a kid to do, but it's really not what I had envisioned. But it was very on brand for the early 2000s, because thin, impractical scarves that people would wear with like fucking tank tops on a red carpet or something was very in style for the early 2000s. At the point where my mom was teaching me how to do this, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm all about this. I am going to be a fashion icon, and I made a finger knit scarf in every color. I didn't care that it looked stupid or that it was like 90 degrees out when I would wear them. I just wanted to wear them at all times because I thought I was just like the most fashionable person ever. And so I carried on like this for a couple years. I would just like go outside wearing these stupid scarves, and some of them would be like super puffy and they would just make me look like I didn't have a neck, and it was just super unflattering. I just looked like but I loved it, and I had a giant bin of finger knit scarves in my room because I was so proud of them. And I carried on like this until one fateful day in 6th grade, I think it was September 2006, where I had the stunning realization that maybe I just shouldn't wear finger knit scarves anymore. So like, as I said, I love fall. It's my favorite time of year, and I get to a point every summer where I'm just kind of like sick of it. There's like 90-degree day after 90-degree day, and I've had it. I'm tired of wearing my summer clothes. I want it to be fall. So what I'll do is I'll wear like sweaters and combat boots and jeans and like leather jackets and shit, even though it's still 95 degrees outside, because I'm just trying to manifest colder weather. And I've been like this ever since I was a little kid. And so I did that in 6th grade on a day that happened to be picture day. Genius. And I decided to put on a sweater, but not just any sweater, a sweater that had embroidered polar bears wearing scarves on the chest here. And I decided to go along with this beautiful number, I should put one of my most iconic chef's kiss finger knit scarves that I had, which was a lovely turquoise / purple fluffy number. And I just wrapped that shit around my neck and just left the house. And for some reason I decided it wouldn't be a good idea to wash or even brush my hair prior to getting ready for picture day. So I had my hair parted right down the fucking middle, thrown into a ponytail. I looked like I rolled in a pile of grease, and to make matters worse, the person taking my picture told me that I needed to close my eyes a little bit because my eyes were too buggy. What ended up happening was I ended up taking one of the most unflattering pictures, not just that I've ever taken, but that anyone has ever taken on planet Earth. I honestly don't know how my dad let me leave the house looking like that, and I don't know how any rational human being could look at that and say, yeah, I want a picture of that sitting on my television stand. I decided after seeing that picture that I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't wear finger knit scarves anymore. Maybe they do look kind of stupid. So for a while, I lived a very sad, very scarfless existence. I would just wear the stupid corporate made scarves and hats that I would buy at Kohl's or JCPenney or whatever. Finally, one day I went to my mom and I said, Mom, I want to learn how to knit. Can you teach me how to knit, please? And she was like, okay, yeah, I'll teach you. So my mom, bless her heart, tried to teach me how to knit, and I'm just not one of those people that just like understands knitting. It's tedious, it takes forever. It looked so bad. Like, I see pictures that people post on Pinterest of their knitting projects and they look phenomenal, just so beautiful, so perfect, so incredibly meticulous and amazing, and mine just looked like my cat chewed on it. And I just was like, just devastated, because I'm like, this is my only hope. I didn't even know what crocheting was. I thought it was just knitting and finger knitting and that's it. And so I spent another many years very sad, very discouraged. And then finally one day, my friend Laura in high school decided that I should try to learn how to crochet. She gave me this little crocheting for dummies tutorial kind of book and a bunch of her crochet hooks. And I tried learning how to do it on my own. It went awful, and I didn't touch the crochet hooks for another few years because I was just so horrified at what I had created. Then when I was going through a particularly nasty bout of depression my sophomore year of college, I decided during spring break that I should try taking up crocheting again, just because I needed a hobby to just keep myself from losing my mind. And after a lot of practice and a lot of trial and error, I ended up learning how to do it, and I just crocheted everything you could fucking imagine after that. I was so stoked. I made everybody I knew a hat, and it really did help me get through a lot of my issues with depression and my issues with my mental health, because it just allowed me to focus on something that wasn't, you know, my brain going 50 miles an hour. And I ended up being able to like channel all of that nervous and stressful energy into something positive and like have it become a tangible, positive thing in my life. Hey, today I had to spend $350 just to be able to continue to be registered as an attorney in Ohio, even though I spent, I don't know, maybe about $1,200 on the actual bar exam not even a year ago. I'm sorry, I forgot that this was about my cat and not about me. Say hi to Grandpa. Hi, Grandpa. So anyways, yeah, I figured there's really nothing else that I can actually afford to do right now other than just crochet this fucking rug. I have gone through one bundle of red fabric, and it's about this. Stop eating my stuff. Oh my god. I'm afraid. Okay, anyway, so this is how much I've gotten done with my project so far. This is one entire red bundle. I would say it's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick, and as you can see, this is what it looks like when we switch colors. You know, it's pretty seamless. I mean, the whole thing is just a little bit ragged and shabby chic looking, I guess you could say, so it's not going to look super polished and perfect. If you want a polished and perfect rug, then maybe just like buy a rug. But since apparently now I can't afford to do that because I just gave the Supreme Court of Ohio $350 more of my hard-earned dollars, I have to just make this rug now. So I guess I'm just kind of, I can't even focus on what I'm saying because my cat is just like crawling all over me and digging her claws into my thigh. So I'm just going to shut up and just start working on this project, if that's okay with you. What sport will an elephant always beat you at? Squash. Well, that got kind of dark kind of quickly. What's the best way to raise a baby elephant? With a forklift. Why couldn't the elephant ride the bus to school? Its trunk wouldn't fit under the seat. What album could an elephant listen to all day long? Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. What's an elephant's favorite part of a tree? The trunk. Saw that coming a mile away, Jesus Christ. Why do elephants need trunks? Because they don't have handbags. What's large in size, gray, and has red spots? An elephant with chickenpox. How can you tell if an elephant is under your bed? Your nose will touch the ceiling. Oh God. What happens when an elephant gets lightheaded? It faints. What did the elephant want for its birthday? A trunk full of presents. What did the elephant say to its girlfriend? I love you a ton. Why do elephants have trunks? Because they would look funny with a suitcase. How does an elephant know what size clothes to buy online? They use the Ella Fit size chart. That's just fucking, that's like not even a thing. Why are elephants so wrinkly? Because ironing them takes way too long. Oh my God. What animal is always up for an adventure? Elephants. They have a trunk with them wherever they go. What has big ears and makes toys for Santa? Elf-fants? What's the only way that an elephant flies? By Dumbo jet. What is a Dumbo jet? Is that a pun on something? Am I dumb? I don't know. What's big and gray and has horns? An elephant marching band. What's as large as an elephant but weighs nothing at all? An elephant shadow. What do you get when you cross an elephant with a rhinoceros? An elephino. Interesting. Why are elephants always so broke? They work for peanuts. Oh, they must work for the government in Cuyahoga County also. Why do you call an elephant that hates taking baths a smelly phant? Ta-da! So this is my rug. As you can see, I feel like it turned out pretty well overall. I'm actually really into the color combination. This just happened to be colors that my mom bought me and that I had on hand from other projects that I've done. And I think they look really good together. I kind of like the primary color vibe that I ended up going with. I also like the fact that none of the stripes are the same size or that they're even perfect. You know, they start and stop in the middle of the rows, and it kind of gives it a bit of a shabby chic look to it. So I really like how this rug turned out. I think I did a pretty good job, if I do say so myself. And I feel like it'll look nice in my kitchen, which I can't really show you guys right now because there's a giant TV box in there and it's taking up the majority of the floor space because I have a new television. Yay me. And anyways, yeah, I'm feeling like I did a good job with this. I could see it looking nice in my kitchen. I could see myself admiring it as I make a nice mug of chamomile tea in the middle of the night on a nice cozy fall evening. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like this is a pretty straightforward project to do. Again, it's pretty tedious, but if you have a lot of time on your hands and you really just want to make something handmade like this, you can get a pretty nice product at the end of the day. I hope that I did my family proud in incorporating all of their feedback, and I'm really expecting to get a ton of views on this video, so please make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below if you liked my family's feedback or if you want to see more from me, if you have any suggestions of what you want me to do, or if you want to tell me that my rug sucks ass, and I guess you could let me know in the comments as well that you think it sucks ass. I'm gonna go now because I have to pay attention to my cat because otherwise she's going to murder me in my sleep. So okay, bye. What's an elephant's favorite Star Wars character? The Tusken Raiders. Oh fuck, I wasn't supposed to talk about Star Wars. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Mom.